Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jessie and today I'm starting a brand new video series on my channel that I'm so excited for. I've had this idea for a couple months now and I'm so excited to finally be able to get into filming this. So basically we're doing monthly binge a book, and what this is going to be is that every single month I'm going to pick either a new release or we're just going to go to the bookstore and browse, and I'm going to pick out a book that I haven't really seen before that I seem interested in. I'm going to come back home and then I'm going to spend that entire day reading the book and binging that book. One book in one day, once a month, and that will be monthly binge a book. Obviously we are in the month of August. I have picked out a book that came out on August 19th, which I will explain and get into what book we have picked. But I just want to do these videos, one, to shine light on books that don't really get talked about or don't have a lot of reviews yet. Obviously with a newer release it might not have a lot of reviews if it's not a very anticipated new release, or if it is a new release that is very anticipated, I can film this video, binge the book, and have my review up for you guys very quickly, so that way you guys can kind of get your idea on whether or not you will like that book or not based on my review if we have the same reading taste. Let's move on over to my chair where I'll probably be for the most of the day, and we're going to talk about what book we picked for the month of August. For the month of August, I have chosen the book Endless Anger by Sav R. I don't know how well you guys are going to see it on my Kindle screen. I will pop the cover up over here because the cover is what drew me to this book. I saw this cover and I fell in love with it instantly. I am one to judge a book by the cover, and if a cover's good, it's got me. These two just look like they're gonna have such a good romance. There's books on the cover, the colors on this cover, everything about it is so perfect to me. This is the start of a series. It's called Monsters Within. I have not read a book by this author yet. I believe they wrote another series. I know one of the books is called Promises and Pomegranates because I was looking up this author to see if they had written anything else, and I saw that book, and I know I've seen that book around. I think it's a dark romance. I know that this is a dark romance. I don't know how dark we're getting into. I'm not a dark romance reader, so this is going to be a little new for me, but the reason why I chose this was, one, because of the cover, but two, it's dark academia. I love dark academia. It's also grumpy. It's not grumpy sunshine, it's grumpy. And that's so interesting to me. I'm going to read you guys the synopsis so I can get a refresh before I get into this and so you guys know what we're talking about. This book did come out August 19th. I don't know how many books are going to be in this series. I'm thinking it's going to at least be a trilogy. The first line of the description on Goodreads says, "Sometimes the pomegranate doesn't fall far from the tree." And I think when I was Googling this, because I was looking up the author, seeing if there was anything, controversial, because I feel like that's what you have to do nowadays, which is so frustrating, but I was Googling things and I think I saw that someone said that this was a spin-off of like the Pomegranate series. I don't know what that series is called, but let's read the synopsis. It says, Asher Anderson is angry at the world, at himself, at the way his best friend Lucy Wolfe seems determined to tune out this buzzing connection between them. He doesn't mean to solve all his problems with violence, but maybe he has too much of his father in him. That's why the faculty at Avernia College hates him, right? Because of the evil blood in his veins. He should know better than to darken the old ivy-covered university's door, but it's practically a law of the universe. Wherever Lucy goes, Asher follows. Even if that means entering a twisting labyrinth of secret societies, human sacrifices, and a very personal history soaked in blood. Lucy is used to being an outcast. She's even used to Asher being her dark, brooding shadow. What she isn't used to is him shattering her resolve by taking her up against library bookshelves as she desperately pretends her heart hasn't always been his. She should know better than to play with fire, but with unexplained deaths and pointed threats ripping apart the university's fabric, Asher and Lucy soon find themselves at the center of the turmoil, where they'll have to confront their feelings or die trying. Oh, focusing on the children of the original monsters and muses set at a university. This is a spin-off. There are trigger warnings in the beginning of this book, so make sure you look them up. So I'm going to start reading this. I will update you guys as I go. Hopefully we'll finish this book today. I have made it to page 77, chapter 9. I am 20% of the way through, and I'm really enjoying this so far. I like the writing. I really like the atmosphere and the setting that our author is writing. It definitely feels very fallish, autumnal. I'm also feeling the dark academia vibes already, and I'm really enjoying it. So we have Asher and Lucy, and they have known each other their whole entire lives. All of their parents are friends. They know each other. This is a spin-off series, so I don't know any of the parents because that was in the previous trilogy or the previous series. So some of their names, it is a little hard to learn and who their kids are because there's quite a bit of them. But we have Asher and Lucy are main characters, and Asher has two sisters. Lucy either has two sisters or a sister and a brother, and then they have their cousins as well that we have been introduced to. So there's quite a lot of characters characters so far. This immediately started off with a fight. The very first chapter, Asher is 13. So far the chapters have been them aging up, and it's very interesting because it is setting the scene and the tone for the story, and it's doing a good job at describing the history that is going to lead up to our present day and our present time and whatever age they're going to be. I don't know for sure. Right now they're 18 and they are just getting into this university type deal in college. From the get-go, we had Asher, little 13-year-old boy, beating on his cousin, but you very quickly get to know Asher and his personality. He reads manga, he draws, he has sketchbooks, he has a cat, which it's a calico cat, but it is a male, which is interesting. It's very rare, but still possible. But I love when authors give characters those personality traits, just something to get to know them a little more. Like, he reads manga, and that's all I need. I don't know, I feel more of a connection to the characters when they have those little tidbits about them. So I am loving that so far. So our plot, I think, is going to revolve around Asher and his cursed bloodline. I don't know what that entails exactly. Right now, Asher's older sister, Quincy, is at this university. She's experienced a lot of things. She's not explaining it very well because she just doesn't really know what's happening, or she can't say anything, and she's going through it at this university. Lucy really wants to go to this university after she has graduated high school. That's where she wants to go because Quincy has talked so highly about it before, but now everything is not good. So Quincy doesn't necessarily want Lucy to go there. She definitely doesn't want Asher to go there either. One of the earlier scenes in this book, Asher and his family were there visiting, and they were doing this campus tour. Asher got separated from his family, and he ended up in this creepy house, creepy building, and something happened there which kind of proved to him that there's this cursed bloodline thing. He was exploring the library as well and found something on his lineage. So there's something up with the Anderson family, and we do not know what that is yet. So I'm very curious to find out. I think it's a very interesting plot, and I'm intrigued so far. So it's not rough to get through. I think I'm going to be able to binge this all today. I don't know whether or not this series is going to continue the plot in this book. I'll see how it ends and how we're feeling the other characters and the other children that we're introduced to in this book. I'm wondering if the rest of the series are going to be their stories, and if it's not going to fully follow like an actual continuous plot line, because mostly fantasy books don't have that interconnected type feel, but romance books do have that, and I don't know right now if this book is going to be more focused on the romance than the fantasy. So we'll see. I'm going to keep reading. I'll come back with another update maybe at like the 40% mark, but so far I'm loving it. Currently making lunch. It is now a little past 2 o'clock. I made it to the 40% mark, and I'm on page 164, chapter 23. So I figured I would update while my food is in the air fryer. It's getting a little more intense. Definitely a dark romance. This is more focused on a romance aspect, or not a very strong fantasy driven plot, which is a little disappointing to me, just because if you have a cursed bloodline type plot in there, or we're getting into sort of a murder mystery plotline as well, definitely something very interesting, but it hasn't really touched on anything with the Andersons family curse at all yet. Just in the beginning we got introduced to it, and I really wish that had had a lot of focus. So yeah, it's definitely more character driven, I would say, but I'm still really enjoying it. I like our characters a lot. They have a lot of snide remarks, but they're very entertaining. After my last update, we did get to the present time, so our characters are now like 22, 23 years old. And like I said before, I really like how we got those past chapters with their earlier ages, so we got to know them more, because if it started out right when they were 22, 23, I don't think I would have liked it as much, because I liked getting to know their younger selves and know their history with each other. And right after that, they had quite a bit of a falling out, Asher and Lucy, and they are still having issues. It's going good so far. I think I have less than 4 hours left. I don't feel like I want to put the book down at all. It's very engaging. I'm going to update you guys probably at the 60% mark. I'm going to eat my lunch. I do want to go outside, lay my blanket out there. The sun came out for a second, and then it went away, and I was very sad. I got excited when my room got a little bit brighter. Yeah, I don't know if the sun's gonna come out. It's very cloudy today, but I think I'm just gonna go out there, maybe put a chair out there even, or my blanket, just for a little bit. I don't know how chilly it is, but I just want to change the scenery. I'm on page 251, chapter 32. We are 61% of the way through. I'm questioning the fantasy-ness of this book because we really haven't gotten fantasy elements. There's not really magic. It's just like the cursed bloodline mixed with the dark academia is what was giving fantasy. It says fantasy and fantasy romance on Goodreads under the genres, but I'm not really getting anything with that. So I'm kind of confused. It got creepy, and maybe that's where the fantasy stuff is going to come in. There are like ghosts in here, I think. There's talk about ghosts. And there's also like random talks about werewolf stuff, but there's no werewolves. It just seems like there's been a lot of hints at like werewolfy things, and I don't know why. I mean, Lucy likes dogs and animals. She's a very kind supporter of animals, and there's a caterpillar. Sorry, my brain. She's doing a fundraiser for a shelter, and she's always picking up trash around the university and the grounds. She's such a good person, and I love that. But yeah, it did end up getting creepy with this whole like murder mystery thing. There was something that happened that is really messing with Lucy's head. With that happening, it kind of led her back to Asher to find comfort with him because she's freaking out and she doesn't know what's going on, and it's really taking a toll on her mental health. But the one thing I like about the romance in this is that Asher has never wanted anybody else but Lucy. Normally, especially when you get a fantasy or a dark romance, I feel like the characters have been with so many people, or they don't even care who they are with. With this one, Asher only wants her. Lucy hasn't been with anybody either. She's kind of dated around a little bit. She hasn't fully focused on Asher because he's done her wrong in the past. Lucy's very hesitant about him, but Asher knows that she's the only one that he wants. So it's very sweet. The only other thing that I have to say right now is that I feel like the plot is kind of back and forth. It doesn't seem like a very consistent timeline of events, or it doesn't follow a certain course that it should. Like, it's not linear, I guess is the best way to describe it. It just seems like we're jumping around a little bit. So I'm not enjoying that too much, but I'm still enjoying the book a lot. I have, I think, like 2.5 hours left. I'm going to read for a little bit more here, and then I think I'm going to head over to the park. I'll update you guys, and then we'll finish the book, probably in my car. Because I'm always in my car. For now, those are all my updates. I'm curious to see where this goes because the last chapter I read, there was something very creepy that happened in the library, and I think there was another murder, so we shall see. It's getting juicy. Alright, we are doing our last update before I completely finish the book. I am 87% of the way through on chapter 44, which is page 360. So I believe I only have like 40 pages left, and it got even more intense. And it feels weird because the things that are happening, like, these people are getting control all deleted from the world and nobody seems to care. Well, the authority powers do not seem to care. There's a point to that. We just don't know. But I feel like this book is going to end and I'm going to be left with so many questions. So I'm nervous for that. These whole, like, death situations are getting a lot more intense. Our main characters are being dragged into them even more. And they're getting a little gory. I was grossed out for one part. So that was fun. It's definitely more focused on the romance, and that's not necessarily my cup of tea. I'm going into this book with not reading a single review from anybody else. I have no idea what I was getting myself into. It was just something that I was interested in, and I'm here to get my thoughts. So, I mean, those are my thoughts. I do wish it was more fantasy-esque, and I wish that the plot was more drawn out and elaborated on. And a lot of times when a book is focused on romance, it'll have a cool storyline behind it if it has those fantasy elements to it, but that plot line doesn't get focus on a lot, and it is just a romance that is at the forefront of the novel, and I wish they were equally focused on, at least, just because fantasy is so good. And especially if you have a plot line as interesting as this one, if you don't get that focus on it in the book, it's a little disappointing. I don't know how I'm going to end up rating this book. I'm still enjoying it. I feel like it's getting worse for me as it goes on. I was looking up book 2 because book 2 is announced. It has a release date. It's coming out in January already. It's following different characters. I didn't read the full synopsis. I just looked at the one character's name because I didn't want to spoil the ending of this one in case there's anything in the synopsis of book 2, but I feel like they're going to be interconnected standalones, and I'm concerned about that as well, just because I feel like this one has so much to wrap up and it has so much that it could touch base on. So if this plot doesn't continue in book 2, I don't know how I feel about that, but I like the romance. And there was a scene, this man, they're sitting in chairs, right? He wraps his leg around the chair and pulls her chair closer to him, and then he puts his hand on her thigh. I was deceased. The only thing I don't like about the romance is that there is a bit of miscommunication, and there has been the whole time. I don't know how I haven't mentioned it so far. Asher's keeping something from Lucy. She gets frustrated, which is completely understandable, right? Because I would be frustrated too. I'm frustrated for her. I have, I think, about 45 minutes left, and I'm gonna sit here at the park and read for a little bit, but I don't think I'm gonna give you my final thoughts until tomorrow, and I'll wrap up, give my final review, just so I can have more time to think about this and really sit with this, because reading it in one day, you take it all in at once, and I don't want to jump to a rating too fast or a conclusion on how I feel about it. So I'm going to finish this right now, maybe, or when I get home, and then I'll see you guys tomorrow with my final update and final review, and then we will wrap this video up. I just woke up. Bear with me. We finished Endless Anger yesterday. I'm going to give you my final thoughts and rating. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Our characters were fleshed out pretty well, our main characters, and I really enjoyed them. They had personality, and I always love that when authors throw in extra personality traits for our main characters, just so you can see what their interests are, because then it makes them not so surface level and you can connect to them on a deeper level, which is exactly what I did with Lucy. She has always struggled with making friends or just fitting in. Not that you need to fit in, but basically just having conversation with people, and everybody throws her off to the side and they don't want to be around her. So she just stays to herself and doesn't really try to make friends. But you can see how good of a person she is throughout this book, and I really, really liked her a lot. And the romance itself was very sweet. I probably said this multiple times in this video, but this book is very romance focused. I think the only thing that I can really add to everything that I've said before is that I don't really feel like the genres mix too well. We have fantasy, we have dark romance, and then we have like regular romance, I guess. And at a lot of points I was just questioning what genre we were focusing on, and that's why I'm saying they didn't really mix well, because I was going back and forth with thinking, is this book even falling into this genre? The fantasy elements were only there sometimes, and most of the time I was like, okay, how is this a fantasy book? There were talks of ghosts and things, and we got a little bit on that, but it wasn't focused on really at all, and I just think it was such an interesting thing to not have focus on. And then dark romance, there were a few scenes that were definitely dark. I would look up trigger warnings, it's in the front of the book, but yeah, there were only a couple scenes where I was like, okay, this is dark, and then the rest of the time I just honestly felt like it was a regular romance. And then obviously you guys know the other thing is that I really wish that more of these plot elements were focused on, because there was so much that I'm still questioning after finishing the book. It needed so much more depth to scenes that happened and certain events that happened. And since book 2, I believe, is not following this plot line, I still haven't read the description for book 2, so I could be completely wrong, but I just don't have a feeling that it's going to follow this plot line from where it left off, which I guess it doesn't need to, because this book did wrap up, but there's too much that was brought up with this school and its history. It's like I need more information. I'm curious. So if you are just looking for a regular romance book with some dark elements, go for it. I would recommend this book to you. But if you are going for a fantasy or like true fantasy vibes, definitely not the book for you. I think I'm gonna fall at a 3-star because I did enjoy it most of the time. I was liking it less and less as I was reading, but that's just because I was waiting for something to happen and waiting for more elaboration, and it just didn't pop up. So 3-star for Endless Anger. We'll see if I continue the series. I'm not entirely sure. I think I touched on everything that I wanted to. So that is gonna wrap it up for August in our monthly binge book. I had a lot of fun. If you guys have any other suggestions for September's books that you would like me to read or touch on, whether it be a new release or just a book that is not very popular, let me know. Don't be picking any books that are over 400 pages, please. Unless it's like a very quick romance read, I could do that in a day, but don't be giving me any long fantasies or whatever, because it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. That is that. I will see you guys in my next video, whatever that may be. I hope you have a great day or a great night wherever you are, and I'll see you later. Bye.